As a break from standard media propaganda, think of my interruption as akin to that of a substitute teacher in school. Relax, sit back, and get ready to be slack as you do word searches and watch The Daniel Nantal Show. This presentation is on the subject of labels, stereotypes. We're trained to excoriate all stereotypes, but consider for a moment. All comedy is based on stereotypes. It acts on the principle that the comedian mentions traits or characteristics in one person that remind you of others who act in the same way. People laugh, and it's funny because it's true. A rapport is created between the comedian and the audience member based on the shared experience. All jokes then become inside jokes between the comic and his audience. This would not be possible if stereotypes had no basis in reality. In his book, After Virtue, Alasdair MacIntyre writes, "There is a type of dramatic tradition, Japanese no plays and English medieval morality plays are examples, which possesses a set of stock characters immediately recognizable to the audience. Such characters partially define the possibilities of plot and action. To understand them is to be provided with a means of interpreting the behavior of the actors who play them. Just because a similar understanding informs the intentions of the actors themselves, and other actors may define their parts with special reference to these central characters. So it is also with certain kinds of social roles specific to certain particular cultures. They furnish recognizable characters, and the ability to recognize them is socially crucial, because the knowledge of the character provides an interpretation of the actions of those individuals who have assumed the character. The ability to recognize these characters, these stereotypes, is socially crucial, says MacIntyre. As Aristotle says, humans are social animals. We communicate by having a common set of concepts, experiences, and yes, stock characters that might be termed stereotypes. Only in a civilization that's dissolving are we encouraged to not hold certain stereotypes in common. In that dystopia, people are cut off from each other, incapable of establishing a rapport or joint understanding. In our time period, it's the political left, who are bent on social destabilization and the disruption of cultural transmission, who want to dislodge these common set of archetypes that unify us. Here's the thing. As the left claims to be fighting stereotypes, they're ironically racing to be stereotypes. What's a stereotype, after all, but an over-the-counter personality? A label. Watch as this young woman desperately wants a label.
Homosexuality is basically a label for people who feel the need to have a label, but they don't fit in any other labels. So basically, bi doesn't really fit them, lesbian doesn't really fit them, pan, asexual, etc. It doesn't really describe them correctly. So yes, it's a very small label, but it's for people who just kind of relax once they have a label. Like, I stress out when I don't have a label. So it puts my mind at ease a little.
The philosopher Nietzsche wrote, "The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently." In today's environment, many young people are being corrupted by this hive mind mentality, trained to ignore the miracle of their own unique personality, and to adopt the over-the-counter identity and menu of opinions offered up by cynical con artists. Watch as one teacher in Utah abandons her role of teacher to engage in that of cult recruiter.
I'll straight up call it out. I'm like so over it. Okay. Okay, well, I would be super proud of you if you chose to get the vaccine. But, yeah.
So, like, this is awesome. It's great start to the year. I already have. Is that, like, the reason it's called the Delta Tribe? I mean, I'll take it.
Are you a liberal?
Yeah. We'll just keep getting we'll just keep getting variants over and over and over until people get vaccinated. It's never going to end. Exactly. It could end in 5 seconds if people would get vaccinated. Yes. I hate Donald Trump. I'm going to say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. He's a sexual predator. He's a literal moron. Go tattle on me to the freaking admin. They don't give a crap. No, he is not.
What are you talking about?
Turn off the Fox News. Do your parents listen to Fox News? So what? This is my classroom, and if you guys are going to put me at risk, you're going to hear about it. Because I have to be here. I don't have to be happy about the fact that there's kids coming in here with their variants that could possibly get me or my family sick. That's rude. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not. So don't ask me
You have
to.
all the right to.
That's damn right. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to lie. If you ask me a legit question, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Because y'all need to hear the truth.
Hey, I 100% agree. You have an opinion. I'm also just a dumb teenager.
You don't have to be, though. That's the thing. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. My parents are freaking dumb. Okay? And the minute I figured that out, the world opens up. You don't have to do everything your parents say, and you don't have to believe everything your parents believe, because most likely you're smarter than them.
I 110% disagree. My parents are geniuses. I'm the idiot of the family. Like 110%.
You can believe what you want to believe, but keep it quiet in the ear, because I'm probably going to make fun of you.
Do that. I always have.
Okay, I'll just say this. Here are the topics that you probably want to avoid in this class. Politics, which you went into. You asked me.
It's kind of fun to talk about it. Yeah, it's kind of
Oh, I could go off on it the whole entire class period if you want me to. But I'm not going to because it's chemistry. We need to do some chemistry. If you don't believe in climate change, get the hell out.
I'll be dead.
Okay? That's pathetic that you think that. You're the problem with the world if you think that. Okay? If you're a homophobe, get out.
Thank you.
Because I am the GSA faculty advisor. I love gay people. All LGBTQIA plus mother. If you don't like it, get out.
In just a few short minutes, we watched as this woman tried to disrupt cultural transmission by telling the children not to believe in the values of their own parents, and instead to accept the entire menu of ideas that all non-playable characters should have, from vaccines to global warming to sexual deviancy. And if you didn't go along with these articles of faith, she would label you as a bigot, a racist, a domestic terrorist. The reality is, people like this unfortunate woman are not trying to explode stereotypes because she hates stereotypes. This mindset is why all children's cartoons now have to portray every African-American character with blue eyes, or make every authority figure a female, or change every scientist into a left-handed lesbian Nicaraguan. The agenda behind this is not about stamping out bigotry, but about destroying the archetypes that unite us as a coherent civilization, and in their place are substituted new archetypes, new stereotypes, new labels. Because if the left loves anything, it's labels, as Viktor Ostrovsky observes here.
I had my second book. I had a record with my second book. I think my first book sold something around the world, close to 8 million copies. My second book was not reviewed in any newspaper in North America. Now that's a record. None. No, I'm sorry. I think the guy in the Phoenix Gazette and the people from B'nai B'rith walked in and asked for him to resign. Yeah, because he's an anti-Semite. Now, I know what they do because I used to ask them to do it. I mean, when I was in the Mossad and we had a guy that gave us problems in the U.S., and he was speaking out, and he was talking like Pete talked once and said, Israel is bombing Lebanon with cluster bombs. We say, hey, who's that guy? You know? Pete Makaki, we used to call him. Yeah, which is Pete the cockroach. Because he makes a lot of noise and you can't get rid of him. So what you do is you get in touch with a guy in the station in New York or in the station in Washington. You say, tell the guys at B'nai B'rith to label him. And of course the campaign starts, and before you know it, the guy's labeled. And he's an anti-Semite. Because that's what we say he is. And that's one stain you cannot wash. Now, it shames me as a Jew to tell you that. But that's the fact. And it's wrong.
So it's not that the left hates stereotypes. They just want their own stereotypes, their own labels. And for some people, this penchant for denying your identity and trying to redefine you from without is growing tedious.
I don't need to care about your gender. I don't need to care about who you want to sleep with. I don't need to care about who you want to identify as. I don't need to care about your thoughts or your feelings. It's you guys that need us to care. You need us so badly to validate you. You guys are so insecure with your own selves that you started giving us labels. Now if we're a straight woman, we're cis women. No, I'm a woman. If you're gonna tell me what pronouns I gotta use, you will not call me anything but a woman.
The establishment media is doing everything possible to make sure that you don't hear some of the most important voices out there on medicine, science, politics, business, media, and so much more. That's why it's so important that you check out the New American show, Conversations That Matter, with Alex Newman, which tackles all of these topics and more.